sometimes you get the front runners, the frontliners for the company, and sometimes you don't.
It's easy to spot, right? Like we were on a job where the painters, all they wanted to do was complain about everybody else that was on the job. Like, oh, when's this guy going to be out of here? Like, you're not getting the building to yourself. Like focus on your job and do your job really well. And like, they kind of, limped around for a couple weeks, and then they realized like they were up against a deadline and rushed through to finish. And it was not a great job the result of their work was not great because they were so concerned about everybody else. There's a general contractor. They have over 6,000 people here in the U.S., and they have a job that was rolling out, kind of trying to finish up for CO. Oh, the elevators didn't pass state inspection. Okay, cool. Like another 2 weeks, get that figured out. Well, it wasn't 2 weeks to just get the elevators done. There was, as-built, there was concordance letters with the engineers and all the designers and things like that need to go. Like there's just a lot of stuff that they hadn't done. They're a huge organization. It's not the first job they ever did. So I think it goes back to people, right? Like I think last time we talked about, everybody wants to make it about the technical problem, but what are your people doing? Do they have a good process? Do they help each other? Are they training? Are they going through kind of different scenarios? And I think that gets lost, and it's easy to kind of separate that when you're in the field, right? Like, oh, they're just, we're building, we're going to get it done. Like, here's the date. But what's leading up to that, right? I think that gets sort of missed over and over. And I mean, the A team, like you can feel it, right? Like we talked about like morale, you can feel like when you're around somebody that just wants to solve the problem and help figure out a way to get it done.
I was doing a shoot in a nondescript location that it will remain nameless, but I went out there and I had this guy, literally I met him 5 minutes before, and then he just kind of looked at me. He's like, yeah, this is the worst job I've ever been a part of. Just like out of the blue. I'm like, cool, bro. I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry. But like, you could tell like there's Trailer City, and it was like a war going on just in that little city. It was just this push and this pull and just all over the place, man. And like, I feel like A players have a tendency to kind of have those, we refer to them as soft skills, like understand, like we're not trying to take advantage of people, but we're searching for win-win, if we're going to use that analogy, right? We're trying to find the win-win scenario for everybody. And I really think that's really where people level up. But I mean, dude, just the chatter that happens around a job site can affect the morale, the ability to get things done.
Yeah.
And
for sure. I mean, we've seen like there's been groups and contracts where they write in specific people. Like there's a job where like the superintendent was like specifically named in the contract with massive GMP. And he's a former Navy like submarine officer, and like he runs that job like very well. Everybody knows him. Everything's clean. The morale is awesome. Like there's a reason he's there. It doesn't matter like the company, and like that specific job has a bunch of different people that came from architecture, engineering, and you can tell they gel well. And it's a lot of the same people. There's still turnover, but I mean that helps proactively solve problems when everybody knows what everybody else is going to do.
There's something to that complaining thing because, and you hear from young guys, you hear from inexperienced people. I feel like, complaining comes from everywhere. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Experienced people complain. Some of them get so curmudgeonly that it's hard to be around them anymore. But
I've been known to be one occasionally.
Well, do you remember though when you started and like I think you were pouring over a set of drawings and you were complaining about them, right?
Yeah, no, I was 2 weeks in and I was like, these are the worst drawings I've ever seen.
Like, you've been here 2 weeks.
Come on, bro. Shut up.
Right. Well, there's a side of like, you didn't know enough to know what a real problem looked like.
Yeah.
You didn't know enough to know what a real bad job felt like. And so construction's challenging, right? Painters, they didn't know enough to know, like, you don't get this nice little pristine isolated area. You're going to work alongside of other people, right? And it causes a stall. It causes I'm gonna wait until it's perfect. Like, I don't know any better. So I've seen that a lot where that experience greases the wheels. Like that experience makes the thing go. And if you're not experienced, I think there is a temptation to like, yeah, I don't know. You panic about things you don't necessarily have to panic about. The good superintendent knows like, we got a problem here, and then also knows, guys, we're going to settle that. It's going to be fun. Let's keep moving.
Right.
Like this isn't the main issue right now.
Well, I mean, I think they're calm. I think, you talked about complaining. I think about earlier in my career, like I probably complained I was not a great employee. Like, and you want to complain to fix things and point things out, but like you also have agency to like take control of the situation. Like if I wasn't getting feedback from my bosses, it's because I wasn't asking, right? I wasn't asking the right questions. I didn't clarify, am I going in the right direction? Am I doing what you want me to? Totally on me. Like I should have done that. And I think when there is a problem, it's like that old kind of adage of, don't come to me with a problem, come to me with a solution too. It's like, hey, we noticed this. We want to do these 3 things. What do you think? To pick on engineers a little bit, we were on a job. Engineers said, well, it's not in our scope to review change orders. Don't care. Like, do it anyway and like help the team out. If you need to charge us more money on the owner's side, like the owners will pay for that.